So, welcome everyone. My name is Radosław Orszewski. I have come from Berlin here, and as Paul said, I have some practical tester experience. Also, I have worked for several years here in Poland and in Germany, and also in some other locations like India with all different kind of software projects, the best projects. So, cancelled projects, delayed projects, projects over a budget, and finally successful projects. Yeah? In my work, I try to focus on quite pragmatic, simple, maybe hopefully not simplistic approach to different agile methodologies. I'm trying to get the best of what we can have from each, which is useful. Judging by the T-shirt I'm wearing, you can figure out that I'm also a huge fan of Kanban method. On a personal basis, for years, I'm also a crazy fan of cycling, all kind of cycling, road cycling, mountain bike cycling, spinning cycling when it's cold outside. And when you sweat a lot on a bike, when you're riding for 4 or 5 hours in a pouring rain, some crazy ideas come to your mind. And you try to, and you find some analogies, some similarities between what you do in your personal life, in your hobby, and what you do professionally every day. And that's how the idea of Tour of Kanban presentation came to my mind. So let's start Tour of Kanban. So I can imagine that after this intro, you may have a question in your mind, what the hell is he talking about? Like, what do cycling, which many people relate closely to doping, have in common with software development? Well, I heard that pizza and coffee are some kind of stimulants, so we also have a doping in software development organizations, but well, that's not something what I'm gonna speak about today. To find the answer to this question, what do they have in common, I will start with one more question. So, does anybody know how many stages of Tour de France in last year, in 2012, Bradley Wiggins won? Nobody? Okay, so my wife said, like, you are using the wrong context, because most likely they don't even know who Bradley Wiggins is, yeah? So he's a professional cyclist. He won last year Tour de France, and to be precise, he won only two stages in almost a month long event. To be precise, he won 2 time trials. He won, and if we look at the general classification results, he won over 3 minutes and 21 seconds over second in a row, guy from the same team actually, Chris Froome. And if you don't know the context, you may wonder, is it a lot or not? 3 minutes, 21 seconds, when, well, we can calculate it. We can calculate it and say this is only 0.057% of the overall time of winning. So where does this lead us? I mean, this leads us to a question about performance. So many sport activities and many professional activities that we also do every day are maybe not all, but performance is very, very important there. And performance is now important in all kind of companies or initiatives that we are working on. So no matter if it's a very small company, a startup that you're trying to deliver your first product, you're trying to find an interest of a founder to back up your product, your idea financially, or if you are a huge company which releases its 30th, 40th product, and the market is very competitive, so every day of a premiere date is important, because this is what is going to bring attention of media and possible users. And so is cycling, right? So we need to focus on the performance, on a very small difference between the first one and the second one. And now we live in days where being first one is really like winning, and second is unfortunately sometimes is losing. So you may risk a statement that such small, I mean, numbers do not really matter here, but a small difference can bring you a win or loss. It's like crossing the finish line as first one or delivering the product with the shortest time to market in your business niche. Yeah, and performance, how do we get this performance? In cycling, of course, there are different aspects. I'm going to just focus on a few of them. We can increase performance. We can increase performance with, good way for a personal matter is a teamwork. So let me here talk about few common misconceptions. So people from IT world are seen by the people from outside of our IT world in a very specific way. There are common misconceptions saying that we IT guys dress quite usual way. We watch the same TV series. We understand more jokes in each Big Bang Theory episode than normal people do. Which may be true, yeah, but it's not always like that. And in cycling, when somebody who doesn't understand what's behind the strategy, when we see a bunch of people racing, we think that each of them tries to be as fast as possible to cross a finish line, which is completely not true. If we are talking about a professional cycling, where we have teams, where we have designated roles, it's not like that. So both professional cycling and software development are definitely about the teamwork. And in both areas, we have different roles. We have specialties. We have one common goal. So we want to win as a team. We want to deliver our product with good quality. We want to meet the budget, maybe a fixed contract requirements. We want to satisfy our users or spectators if you are a professional sportsman. And finally, we want to feel a personal pride for our accomplishments. Yeah. So people who are members of a team, a winning team, they want to see, let's just say, good reception from the audience. And if we are working on the application, for example, we would like to hear a good feedback, and we would like to see increasing number of downloads from the application store. Hey, we have 1 million. Yeah. So there's like 1 million users who are actually using our software. Now, very precise example. A precise example from cycling world is something what is called team time trial. I assume that you may have not seen it because it's not very common, not very common way of racing. So I'm going to explain step by step how it looks. So we have a team which consists of usually an odd number of races, let's just say 5, 7, 9 of them, and they are allowed to go one after another. So they can benefit from the fact that there's somebody in front of me and he shields me from the wind, and my work is just easier because he's pulling the whole team front. So first racer takes a pull and he drags the whole team with, let's just say, the speed that he's setting up. What do we do next? We want to avoid overburdening, a personal overburdening. So we cannot keep the same guy in front of the team for a very long time. Yeah, we can expect that he can do it for, I don't know, 2 kilometers or 3 minutes, but he's not going to take it for the whole stage. So what he does is like he swings back to the back of the peloton to take a rest, and another person takes a pull for the team. And they go on. So they move forward. What is really important here is also avoidance of change of speed, because for those people who have ever ridden in a peloton, in a group, it is quite difficult. When the first racer slows down, everybody in the team needs to slow down. And then if we want to go back to the speed that we would like to all move forward with, then okay, 5 people need to go faster. Yeah, it is a kind of some effort. We need more power to do it. So what happened next is like another pull takes place. Another guy goes back to take a rest, and another one leads the team toward the finish line. How does it work in practice? So depending on our role in the team, on our strength, on our endurance, the team takes a certain strategy how long these pulls should take. So if I'm a person one and I'm a good sprinter, I may go faster for a longer time. If I'm a climber and I'm not so good in riding fast, I can keep the same pace but for a shorter period of time. Still, the whole team benefits from my performance because we try to keep the whole team speed at a constant level. So we switch one more guy and we finally hit a finish line. Yay, we are there. And why is it like that we are actually working as a team? We also benefit as a team, because what is a team result is a result of a guy who is the first after like half of the team. So in case of 5 riders, we take a result of the 4th one as a whole team result. This is also encouraging the team not to sacrifice one person for the purpose of the team, but also keep the teamwork for the whole stage. Where does it lead us to ideas of Kanban or Lean? So first of all, we can clearly see that they all focus on one goal. There's no rivalry, there's no concurrence in this approach. Second, because of those changes, we know that we cannot keep one person in a head of this team for too long. So we switch this person, and this way we try to avoid something what is called muri, so a kind of waste, overburdening, right? And And the third point is like optimized workflow. If you take a look at it, it's this way that a cycle time and lead time here, terms coming from Kanban, are almost equal here, right? There are no delays, no gaps. The flow is continuous, and ideally there's no drop in the speed of the whole team when the leading guy is changing in front of that. Okay, let's try now to take a look at the wider perspective. So we had one quite unusual way of racing in a stage, but maybe it could also work the same way for the whole race. We usually don't run a project in one sprint. We have many sprints, many iterations if you run this way. So if a team can work together to optimize its performance during this specific type of racing, maybe we could also apply it to the whole race. And here, a crazy idea, an expedite ticket. We know, maybe those who practice Kanban, who knows what is it, are familiar. I hope they are familiar with it, but just to let everybody know, an expedite ticket is something what lands on the top of the Kanban board, and somebody, a business owner, says, well, this is now the most important thing to do for us, because this is important from the business perspective. Maybe it's a maintenance bug, which is affecting our transaction business model, and because of this bug we don't make money. So unfortunately we need to sacrifice the velocity and work on other things and try to focus on this one now. And if you take a look at the strategy of teams in professional road cycling, this kind of expedite ticket is basically equal to idea of a team leader. So the whole team works for the team leader, right? We have the best cyclist in our team, and we would like to see him at the stage, on the podium, at the end of the last stage. So let's try to do something to deliver him as a ticket to a finish line as fast as possible, as efficient as possible. Okay, if I'm talking about Kanban, there needs to be a slide with a Kanban board, I guess. So maybe we should compare a Kanban board to a profile of a race that we have in front of us. So ticket, like an expedite ticket, we want to drag it, we want to pull it from most left column to most right column as soon as possible, yeah? How do we do it? if our leader is our ticket and we have a really uphill here, then we have people who are called in professional cycling gregarios or domestics, so they are dedicated helpers. They are there to shield the leader from other racers in a peloton, from some not fair play games, and from the wind. In the mountains, if our leader is not a good climber, they can help him to do it. And that's the way that he can save some strength, some power for the next stage. Okay, what happened next? We goes along the way, and there is a final sprint. Yeah, so you can, if you check details, people like Mark Cavendish, who's like now I believe the best sprinter, he's capable of riding his bike for more than 60 kilometers per hour, but only for a certain period of time. And you can imagine that it's not possible if you would need to first ride initial 200 kilometers just on his own, yeah, without the help of his team. So basically everybody tries to help him to do it. And in the last kilometer or few hundred meters, he is doing the best what he can do. He can fulfill his role in the team. So remember, we have all our specialties and our roles. Okay, time for maybe a nicer picture than the crappy graphic that I had there. I think that's a picture from Scotland. When I've seen it, I decided I need to go there with my bike. But okay, we all would like to go for a bike ride in a environment like that. Yeah, a blue sky, white clouds, perfect day. And also professional riders, they would also love to race only in conditions like that. And we prepare for our race, right? So we may know the route because it's known in advance. We want to go from point A to point B along some way. That's fine. We can get the best gear, right? We want to have our solutions safe. I mean, in terms of IT stuff, we want to have the best equipment, the best solution, best architecture. We want to have sustainable solution. We are not afraid of, I don't know, a broken hard drive because we have it in the cloud, etc. We exercise together. We need to exercise together to really run in a team time trial. It's not possible to get just a bunch of people who meet for the first time at the start line and expect them to do it. Yeah, there needs to be an exercise. There needs to be an understanding. There needs to be a social understanding between them, a common language that they would need to use for good communication and executing the way that they wish to. So we may think that we have a plan and we go for this race, but guess what? Oh, the weather's changed, right? So it's not so nice anymore. Like this cyclist from British Columbia, well, unfortunately, we are quite sure that we will finish our race with a sand in our mouth or something like that. It's going to be cold, it's going to be rainy. And question is, what may go wrong? Many things may go wrong, right? I mean, road condition changed, so we go slower than we expected. We may get run out of energy, out of food too early. We have worse traction on the road. We can get always some kind of hardware malfunction, a flat tire, or finally the bad things happen. So we can also have a crash, a collision with other rider, right? And the same things happen in our projects. Yesterday, in one of the open space talks, I had a really good conversation how small a project team can be. If we have two people working on something and one get a flu, well, then you have 50% of capacity less. How we gonna adapt to it? Yeah, we can have a change of scope. We can have a change of deadline. Our CEO comes and says, next month we have an important fair event and we need to go live with our new web page there, right? So, sorry guys, we need to change the scope, but deadline is the same, or deadline is closer than we expected. I believe many people in this room know this feeling. So how can we get there, even if cycling or software development are activities that we do in constantly changing environment? Yeah, it's not only about high performance. It's about getting ready for the worst. It's about being truly agile, lean, which can bring us closer to success. Yeah, that's the story of cycling. And now, question: did I convince you? The answer should be no, because that's not my role in here. But if you're gonna say yes, I will be grateful. If you're gonna say no, that's even better, because I hope that you will leave this room and you will start thinking about ideas that may come, inspirations that may come from your personal life, from your hobbies. I don't know, maybe you collect post stamps or some other extreme sport. Look for those kind of inspirations. Yeah. Yesterday we had a great talks about gamification, about inspiring people to act, and I believe we may look for it in professional books, from coaches, from blogs, but genuine ideas can come from our everyday life, our hobbies, and that's what I hope that you will start looking for after you will leave this room, this conference. Start thinking, yeah? It has the future. Okay, thank you very much. I would like to say thank you to all the people who allowed me to use those pictures, because there was a story about each picture. Oh, that's a picture from a race I had there, or something like that. Really, really great. Just as a word of comment, if you're looking a contact with me, find me on Twitter. I'm tweeting mostly in English. If you're interested in a blog about software Kanban in Polish, it's software-kanban.pl. If by any accident you are also a cycling fan, every month you can find my articles in Magazyn Rowerowy. Thank you very much.